Hello and welcome to the 4th episode of the Rome Remastered Historical Battle Walkthrough. In today's episode, we are playing the 4th historical battle, the Battle of the River Trebia. We are playing as the Carthaginian forces. We are facing off against a Roman army. We may be outnumbered, but we are Hannibal, and we are a military genius. We will use the terrain to our advantage and overwhelm the enemy forces with our elephants. May the best general win.
The River Trebia, 218 BC. Having sworn an oath at his father's deathbed, the young Hannibal Barca, general of the mighty Carthaginians, sets out to destroy the Romans. Having lost many men marching across the freezing Alps, Hannibal gathers the survivors and prepares to face the might of Rome. His forces are no match for the Roman legions. Hannibal must use the element of surprise if he is to have a chance. He hides his finest cavalry in the forests, and then sends his Numidian mercenary cavalry across the river to lure the Romans into the trap. The Romans take the bait and chase the Numidians back across the freezing river. And the scene is set for Hannibal to stage his ambush. Timing is crucial. If his cavalry charge too soon, they'll be isolated and cut down by the Roman infantry. If they charge too late, the Carthaginian front line will buckle before the Roman advance. Hannibal also knows that he must use his elephants to create fear and terror. Failure to use these two key units to maximum effect will spell disaster for Hannibal's campaign against Rome.
Alright, let's start bringing Rome to its knees. Now, as the narrator said, timing is very crucial in this battle. If we don't charge the cavalry at the right moment, the battle is basically lost, and if it isn't, casualties will be extremely high. So as always, the first thing I like to do is just to reorganize my troops so in the midst of battle it's easier for me to locate them and select them. But I'm also going to group the units on the left and right flank so I know which units are going to be primarily flanking and attacking from the sides. Now, this strategy is all about timing. What I like to do is have my heavy cavalry unit that is with the main force just charge ahead and try and scare the enemy skirmishers away so that they don't open fire onto our men. So less of our men die because of that. Now it is risky. We will have to micromanage a lot so that we take as few casualties as possible. But I think this is a risk worth taking because by charging our cavalry in to distract their skirmishers, not only does it sometimes mess up their formation because they want to assist their fellow soldiers, but it will also buy us extra time and not have to worry about our men being taken down by skirmishers from the distance. So what I like to do is to wait, so when I send in that heavy cavalry unit, they're going to be chasing around all of these skirmishers here. As soon as they begin falling back behind the infantry, we regroup and then go after the next one to make sure they fire as little as possible. Our own skirmishers will be as close to the front line as possible. Until the main army of theirs gets close, they will be right about here. When the main force gets close, they're going to go onto the hills on the left and right flank to shoot into the flanks of the enemy. The infantry will be holding their position not only to protect the general, but also try to group the enemy up so it's easier for our cavalry and skirmishers to pick them off because they'll be all bunched up and it'll be harder for them to maneuver. Our elephants will be vital in this battle. This is because when the enemy gets close, not only will these elephants cause fear and terror, but they are excellent at breaking through their ranks and dealing maximum damage. So let's get started.
Cavalry, attack quickly!
In this battle, we'll only be using the general's unit to move around a bit because it's only 4 soldiers and it's a bit too risky. And as you see here, when they begin pulling in very close to the main force, we just pull back and send them after the next one so that we don't risk engaging. What I like to do is to always send in my units on the left and right flank to take out the enemy cavalry. This is so we don't have to worry about them trying to flank us or just take down our skirmishers early. But we have to be careful so we don't get engaged by the enemy infantry, because if we do, it will spell trouble and doom. Once they've fallen back to here, I'm going to turn off them running away and then just have them hold position. Now we will have to heavily micromanage to ensure maximum damage, but we also want to focus on taking out the enemy general. With their morale depleted, the enemy forces will crumble much faster, obviously, but it will also just be easier for us because we'll be taking out more of their men. But we have to be as careful as possible. This is their own general, and they won't give him up lightly. They'll probably send a lot of their units to go and counter us. So we have to take advantage of that. We have to send in our own cavalry to hit them in the back, when they'll least expect it. Losing a few men from the cavalry unit isn't anything to cry about, but we do want to keep the casualties to a minimum. And as you see there, that infantry unit was busy trying to take out those 2 cavalry units, so our other 2 cavalry units would easily just sweep in and take them out. And now that the enemy forces have gotten this close, we're going to engage our front line with them. I'm also going to send in my skirmishers to try and assist. And as you see, the enemy is breaking away quite quickly. All that's left to do is just continuously charging the elephants into the enemy positions and trying to send as many reinforcements as possible to the main line to help them hold. Now what I'm doing here is just constantly micromanaging all of my troops, having the cavalry moving left to right to not only spread apart their forces so it's easier for us to pick them apart, but also so that we can slowly surround the enemy forces much easier, or just chase down, or escape any threats that we encounter. I'm going to try and take down the enemy general as soon as possible, because it's already been quite some time. We have basically destroyed the Roman forces, but with him down it'll just make the enemy reinforcements rout much faster. He's the only one left from that cavalry unit, which makes me very happy. But I want to continuously send more and more soldiers to aid in the battle on the front line. We want to constantly have our skirmishers opening fire and doing as much as possible to help. Everyone needs to pitch in. And there we go, the enemy general has fallen. I'm not really going to focus on the units that are running away, I just want to fully take down the soldiers that are already here. And as more and more of their friends die and are massacred, they begin running away more often, and less of them come back every time. As I mentioned earlier, I'm trying to keep my general off to the side so he is less vulnerable, because it's only 4 men and we don't want to lose him, not only for historical actions, but also historical reality, but also realism, historical realism, but also so our morale doesn't deplete, because we have suffered a few casualties. It isn't anything too serious, but it's actually quite well. We did lose a few men, but considering that we were outnumbered and against such odds, it's truly amazing what we have done here. What I'm going to do now is try to focus as many of my soldiers onto the enemy forces, because most of them are routing and this one unit here is just all that's standing in our way. And because they're very tired, they won't put up much of a fight. But I do want to be cautious because some of their units do still remain. Pesky Romans. And there we go, victory.
Chase them from the field and give them no rest or pity. Your soldiers have brought you a great and deserved victory. The enemy are crushed.
That's amazing. 151 casualties, not including friendly fire, which I think there was barely any, if any, because most of our men were out of range of our own forces. But this was extremely good. We massacred the Roman army. Great. Now we can head towards Rome and bring the Romans to their knees. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Rome Remastered Historical Battle Walkthrough. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you watching the next episode. Thank you.